welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, November 12th, 2021. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. This channel is all about my crafty life and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. You can find me online on Instagram and Etsy at Noble Character Crafts, and you can get in contact with me through my email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I am hosting a make-along on Instagram this year called the Make 9 2021 Mal, and that is for you to join in on the Make 9 Challenge. I will have a full description of this make-along in the description box below so that you can get some more information about it if you don't know about it already, but just so that you know, it's never too late to join in the make-along. You are not required to finish anything. You just need to make a board and post it onto Instagram and post any of your pictures that you make of the projects that you're working on and just include the hashtag Make 9 2021 Mal. From those pictures that are posted on Instagram with that hashtag, I periodically will draw prizes for this make-along, and I have a couple of prizes to give away today. A few more wonderful hanks of yarn that I was gifted from one of the podcast viewers, Joy. If you've watched for a while, you know that she sent me this huge box full of gorgeous yarn and prizes to give away to all of you. So the first prize is one of the ones, when Joy sent the box over, she said that I could keep some of the skeins of yarn for myself, and I have kept back some of my very favorites, but this was one that was really hard. I really was quite tempted to keep this one because I think it's so gorgeous, but I've decided to not be too greedy. So this is a beautiful skein of yarn from a homespun house, and it is on a soft sock merino fingering weight base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and the colorway is called, well, it's a Harry Potter Year of Yarn of the Month Club from April of 2018, and this one is called Unregistered Onamaji. I probably mispronounced that, but if you are a Harry Potter fan, you probably know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, it has a beautiful kind of a pinkish creamy tan base, and then it has beautiful speckles of this great fuchsia color and green and dark maybe charcoal colors and some teal even in there. It's just gorgeous. And then it comes with a progress keeper, which looks like a sugar cookie with a bug on it. I've explained before that I am not familiar with Harry Potter, so you just have to forgive me that I don't know what to say about some of this stuff. But I hope that the winner will enjoy this prize, and the winner is on Instagram, Jennifer. She goes by Jennifer433 on Instagram, and I just went through the posts on Instagram randomly, and this one was chosen. So congratulations to you, Jennifer. I hope that you will enjoy this prize. Please get in contact with me through my email, or you can send me a message on Instagram and let me know your full name and your mailing address, and I will get this off to you as soon as possible. And then, just put this over here. The second prize is another gorgeous skein from a homespun house. This was another one that, you might be able to tell that the ones I'm giving away later on in the year now are the ones that I was like, oh, I don't know, do I want to keep this one? And like I said, I was trying not to be too greedy, so this is another one that was super gorgeous and very difficult to resist. But this one is on a plump merino fingering weight base, which is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And this is from a November Harry Potter club. It doesn't say what year, but this one is called Liquid Luck. Isn't it gorgeous? It's just so beautiful. And it comes again with another progress keeper. I think these are both from Sucre Miniatures, perhaps. This one looks like a Starbucks drink or something with Cool Whip on top. Oh, sorry. It's like gold sparkly, and then on the top is some Cool Whip with like maybe caramel sauce on top. It's kind of hard to see it, I know, I'm sorry, but you get the idea, I hope. So that will go off to the second winner, which is Luann, and her Instagram handle is Yarniques. Congratulations, Luann. I am so excited that you won a prize as well. Again, get in contact with me and let me know your full name and mailing address. So excited that the two of you won prizes this time. Please continue to post your pictures on Instagram with that hashtag, and again, I will be pulling a few more prizes before the end of the year for this make along, so please continue to join in. I have another exciting giveaway to share with you all today. Deborah Raymond of Candy Shop Yarns, and she's also one of the co-hosts of Meanwhile at the Castle podcast, which I absolutely love, recently came out with a new, absolutely adorable sock pattern called Gingerbread Dreams, and she so graciously offered me a copy of the pattern to, well, for both for myself personally and to give away on this episode. So I am so excited to offer that up to you all. If you would like to win a copy of this gorgeous pattern, all you have to do to enter is leave a comment below using the word Gingerbread Dreams, and you will be entered to win a copy of this pattern. Thank you so much again, Deborah, for offering that pattern up to us. I really, really appreciate your generosity. Your pattern is just so incredibly gorgeous and adorable. It's just remarkable how you came up with that pattern. It's so cute. So thank you again. I have one finished object to share with you all this time. I was able to finish these socks that I showed off that I really just started. I think, yes, I had just finished the cuff last time I recorded and had just started on the leg of the sock. I think I had only done a couple of rounds of the leg. I had originally cast the cuffs on, intending for these to be socks for my 9-year-old son. So on my last episode, I showed off 2 pairs of socks, one red pair for my youngest, and then the other pair was like teals and yellow. It was kind of a mixture of colors, stripy socks. They were both shorty pairs of socks. And anyway, my 9-year-old son had picked out this color that he really wanted for his cuffs and his socks. So I used US 0.2mm needles and cast on 56 stitches, which was the same that I had done for my youngest son, but this base is an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon base, and so it's a little bit plumper than a 75-25, which was the other yarn that I had used for my other son's socks. And anyway, these were turning out too big for him. They were fitting my leg when I tried them on. So I had to start a new pair of socks for him using a different yarn that was a 75-25, a little bit thinner, and that just made the difference that they weren't as big using the different type of yarn. So I decided to knit these for myself. The beautiful yarn that I used, which I mentioned last time, I wasn't too disappointed that these were not working out for him because I'm more than happy to keep these for myself, and I'm glad to keep this set together as well, because this set was a mini skein set that I got from Willow Tree Yarn, and it is the Little Women mini skein set that she dyed. And I have had this, I would guess, for almost a year maybe. I'm not quite sure when I got it, but I've had it in my stash for a little while, so I was super happy to be able to finally get these knit up into some stripy socks. So I absolutely love how they turned out. So again, I just did 56 stitches. I did a 2x2 rib for only 15 rows. And then for the stripes, there's 5 different colorways in this mini skein set, and I just randomly striped them in. You can see that the stripes are different widths, and I just did it completely randomly, but I just knit straight for the leg and plain stockinette. I did a slip stitch heel flap. I did add a slip stitch detail to the ball of the foot, just to hopefully prevent getting holes in that part of the sock and did a rounded toe. I absolutely love how they turned out. They were so much fun to knit. If you've been watching for a while, you've noticed that recently I've just been so into knitting stripy. These weren't considered scrappy because they were from a mini skein set, but they still are kind of scrappy looking, I think, because of the stripes. Well, they're a lot more cohesive than a true scrappy pair, but you get my drift. Anyway, I absolutely love these, and the process of making stripy socks is just so much fun. I love them. I've just been sewing in my ends when I'm all done. Here's the side, the join side, and you can kind of see there's a bit of a line there where I've changed colors, and then I've sewn in my ends along that side as well. It's not quite as smooth as this side, but that's okay. I love them. Aren't they so pretty? The colors are just so pretty in this set. I love them so much. So, and I also really think that they have kind of a Christmassy vibe, especially with the green, and then this color has specks of red and green in it as well. So I just think they kind of look like maybe old-fashioned Christmas colors, kind of. So they're great. I love them. And the fit is great. I'm so surprised that, because I usually knit my socks 64 stitches on US zeros recently, which I've liked, but I've actually noticed that my socks could probably be a little bit tighter yet, which is surprising because I have pretty large feet. I wear a 9.5 shoe size, American. I'm not really sure what that is in European. I remember when I lived in Turkey, I had a really hard time finding shoes that were big enough for me because the women over there just have smaller feet normally. So anyway, I have pretty big feet, but I do knit really loosely. So I guess that makes a difference. Anyway, you'll see on one of my other whips that I'm working on, another pair of socks, that I have gone down to 60 stitches using the US zeros, just to kind of play around with the fit, and they seem to be working out pretty well as well. So anyway, I thought maybe, I was just surprised that the 56 stitch would fit my foot, but it does. They fit really well. So I'm very happy with those. Okay, on to works in progress. My first work in progress, I questioned whether I thought about maybe not even showing this one because it really doesn't have a huge amount of progress on it, but I thought I would just show the little bit that I do have and talk about my progress so far. This is being held in a beautiful Tanny Casey project bag. Oh, what I'm wearing today, I wanted to mention. I am wearing the Brass Tacks cardigan. This is a beautiful design by Devin Ventre of Knitty McPurley, and this I knit in my own colorway called Comfort. And I'm also using this colorway in the Shawlography shawl that I'm knitting. So this was kind of the inspiration. I had worn this when I was on vacation with my family, and this I thought while I was wearing this on vacation that this color would look cool in the Shawlography. So that's why I decided to include this colorway in my Shawlography after wearing this. But anyway, this is knit in a DK weight yarn, and it's just it's pretty simple up here at the top. But then it has this really cool ribbed detail on the sleeves, and it kind of comes to a V. I don't know if you can tell on the sleeves here, but then also here on the waistline, it has this detail of a V, or like a mountain peak kind of. And then it's got this twisted ribbing detail. It's so pretty, but I mean, really simple and easily like really wearable, I guess. So I love this cardigan and I wear it a lot. Okay. So this is another cardigan that I'm working on. This is from my personal Make 9 2021 list, and it is the Elly cardigan by Adelheid. And I just haven't made a ton of progress on this. I am working on the short rows and attempting to start the lace paneling on the sleeves, but I'm having some difficulty. This pattern, I don't know. This is, I've started this pattern, I've ripped it out, I've started it again, and now I'm having a bit of trouble figuring out the lace panels. But anyway, oh, and it's gonna be kind of hard to see. Today, we're getting our first snow today, but it's quite overcast and windy, and so I have my window open right in front of me just to get a little bit of light, but then when I do that, it's especially hard to show off light yarn because it's just too bright. But anyway, it's just a pure white, well, just a bare yarn. It's a fingering weight 100% non-superwash fine merino wool. Last time I recorded, I had just finished the ribbing, which is a twisted ribbing. I have on here a beautiful progress keeper that I received from Tracy of Grizzly Knits. It's just this cute little bunny rabbit with some beautiful stones on it. It's called Cottontail. I love it. So that's marking the progress I've made. Not much, but there is a little bit. You can see I've done some short row shaping along the back here. And then I've just started the lace paneling on the sleeves. I've only done like one row, and I think I don't know. My stitch count is off from my right sleeve stitches, and my left sleeve stitches are off. And you need to start the lace panel, but you need to find the middle stitch of the lace panel and center it on the sleeve. And so then you're kind of trying to figure out what to do. My problem is my stitch count is off by one stitch. But then when I do the lace paneling, you're dealing with yarn overs and knit two togethers and slip slip knits. And then you're changing your stitch count with all of those. For example, if you're only doing half of the lace panel, then you might do a yarn over, but not do a knit two together to make up for the yarn over. So then your stitch count is one more, or vice versa. It could do a knit two together to follow the lace pattern, but then you never did the yarn over before that because you're only doing half of the lace thing. And so then that's my problem with the other side. So I've done the left sleeve lace panel, and I'm going over to the right one, and the right one is the one that has one less stitch already. And when I go over to do that lace section, then I've like lost two more stitches because of knit two togethers and SSKs. I don't know. I am confused, and I got frustrated with it, and I've just put it aside, and I haven't picked it up for a while because it's going to require a lot of mind power, and I'm frustrated with it right now. So I just haven't worked on it a ton, but I'm hoping not to completely give up on it, but time will tell. Okay, my next work in progress is my Shawlography by Stephen West. It was a mystery knit along. The mystery is over now, so I'm not giving any more spoilers. If you don't want to see it, I don't know how you've gone without seeing it because it's everywhere, it seems. So I'm going to show it off now, and hopefully you guys don't care. Okay, so I am on the very last clue, so that's good. I'm feeling good about that. But I really haven't rushed this. I'm going to be giving this as a Christmas gift to my friend Tina. So that's not a huge rush. I can take my time in getting this done. But this last clue is very mindless and super enjoyable. So I am really just enjoying the process right now. So that's great. So here it is so far. What's this? Oh, it's just caught on one of the bobbles here. It's coming along quite well. Last time I showed this off on the last episode, I was right here where this progress keeper is marking. I had just done a few rows of the brioche section from the third clue. This beautiful progress keeper was made by my cousin Elly. It's a cute little pumpkin spice donut. I love it so much. So I finished the brioche section, which is gorgeous, and I love these cross section stitches. They're so beautiful, I think. I was so glad that I had watched a couple of other podcasters who had made this already. Both Kay of Crazy Sock Lady and Emma of Potter and Bloom mentioned that those stitches were super tight and hard to manage once you did all the yarn overs for this section. So I tried to do those really loosely, and then when I went to go pick up the stitches, then I went down to a smaller needle, so that made it much easier to work those. So there's definitely an advantage to not keeping up with the clues quite as well as some of the other knitters. You kind of can learn from the struggles that they've had with the pattern and, do things a little bit differently. But I have started the striped section, which is the fourth clue. And like I said, this section is just so mindless, super, super easy to work on without, it's just garter stitch and working these different stripes, which are so much fun. So I've done 2 full repeats of the striping, and I think I counted, and I think there's 10 or 11 repeats of the stripes along the edge. So I've got quite a ways to go here yet, but I'm going to enjoy it and not rush it. So I'm really enjoying that. I will have a lot of ends to weave in, because I am not doing the weave in Stephen method that Stephen West suggests. I tried that at the beginning of the shawl, and I had tried that method before, I believe in a pair of socks that I was making at one time, but I really don't enjoy the process of the weave in Stephen method. Lots of people love it, and I'm sure I'm sure it holds really well. I don't have a problem with it at all as far as security, holding the stitches. I just don't enjoy the process of wrapping my yarn around. When I was doing that at the beginning of this shawl as he instructed, and when I got to the rows where I had to do the weaving part, I was like, oh no, I gotta do this again. I was like, wait a minute, I don't have to do that. I can just go back in with a tapestry needle later and sew in my ends, which I don't mind at all. So I was like, well, I'll just do that because I don't mind that process, but I really don't like the weave in Stephen method, but to each his own, right? So anyway, I will have a few ends to weave in at the end, but it'll be easy. I don't mind that, but anyway, it's coming along beautifully. As I mentioned before, it's just not quite my style. It's a little too wild for me, but my friend Tina loves it. I showed it to her and she loves it. So that's why I have decided to gift it to her. And she said, you can make it for me for Christmas. So that's what I'm doing. I am really happily knitting along on this shawl, and it shouldn't take me too much longer, I wouldn't guess. But again, I'm not rushing it. I've gone over the yarn, so I don't think I'll go over those again. I'll go over them one more time once I finally finish it. But I am really enjoying this process. I have 2 new sock whips that I've started, and I'm really enjoying both of them. The first one is being held in this adorable little bag that I got from My Creative Frenzy on Etsy. And I was watching Michaela of Sugar Folk Handmade podcast, which I absolutely love. If you haven't checked out her podcast, I highly recommend it. And she was, I think she finished already. I'm pretty sure she already finished a pair of socks that she was making using this yarn, which is Regia 4-ply and the Cardamom colorway. And I was just reminded that I had this colorway in my stash. I've had it for, I don't know, quite a while. And I really loved how her socks turned out, and I was inspired to get mine out of my stash and work up my skein of this yarn. So this is 73% polyamide, I'm sorry, 73% wool, no, 75% wool, 25% polyamide. Fingering weight. And the colors in this yarn are just so perfect for autumn. I thought they're so pretty. I love them. So these are the ones that I cast on 60 stitches with, again using US 0 2mm needles. I did a 1x1 ribbing for 20 rounds for the cuffs. And then for the leg, I am trying, I don't think I've ever done this before, a knit 5 purl 1 stitch. So it's just giving a little bit of ribbing to it, but when you look at it, it's not very obvious that they're ribbed, I guess, because it's pretty, the ribbing is pretty far spread out, I guess. But I just love the stripes and the kind of the marled look of the colors as well. I think they're so pretty. So I've got a little bit further to go on the leg before I do the heel, and then I think for the heel I'm going to be using my leftovers from that I knit a pair of socks using this yarn, I don't know, a month or 2 ago. This is Knit Picks Stroll in the Raven something, I'm not really sure. Anyway, it's just a little leftover purpley yarn that I think will look cool with this colorway. So that's what I plan on using for the heels. So loving these, super simple and mindless, easy to travel with this project. So I've been working on those a lot when even like watching TV, and when the kids are doing their schoolwork, I'll work on a few rows. The next pair of socks that I've started, I am so excited about. So excited about. They are being held in this adorable bag that I won from the Bead Sisters podcast. And then on here is this cute little pouch that I received from Carista of Sweet Mountain Yarn and Crafts, or Sweet Mountain Crafts. She also just started a YouTube channel as well, where she's showing off her knitting projects. So I will link to her podcast below, as well as Michaela's. She just has 2 episodes out so far, but I've really enjoyed getting to know Carista a little bit more as well through her podcast. So that's super exciting. And the socks that I have started in here, oh my goodness, I'm so excited about them. So I am knitting a pair of socks that are buffalo plaid. I'm so excited about these. I am using the pattern by Summer Lee Designs, and this is the check socks, I believe they're called. Let me double check that. Little Checks Socks by Summer Lee Design Co. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about these. So she showed off a pair. I think the original idea behind these was to make them more scrappy looking. If you'll look at her, I'll link of course to her pattern below, and if you look at her pattern, you'll see all the different examples that she has for this pattern, and a lot of them are more colorful than this. But then she showed off a pair that were blue and white gingham. And after she showed those, I was like, oh, I could do buffalo plaid, which I love. You can even see here. Let's give you a sneak peek of my bedding. My sheets under here. Oh, maybe you can't see very well. But they're buffalo plaid. I just love this buffalo plaid. I just think it's so cozy. It reminds me of winter and even the holidays, and I am so excited about these. So I have knit a few pairs of colorwork socks in the past, and I haven't had a ton of luck with the fitting. I'm trying to think of, I did one pair that is full colorwork, and they fit really well when I first made them, but after I've washed them a few times, they've just gotten pretty tight, and I feel like I'm going to tear them whenever I put them on my feet. I wonder if I have them handy. I don't think I do. I think they're back here, and I can't reach them. I'll get them just for an example. They are very worn as well because they're not new, and I have worn them several times. I'm not super great at storing my socks in a very pristine way. But anyway, these were a beautiful design by Kulabra Designs. I don't remember the name of the pattern, but I loved making these, and I just think they're a work of art, but I don't wear them very often because they're super hard to get on and off. So that's kind of a disappointment. And then I also knit a pair of socks last year, and they only have this little bit of color work up here at the top. This is a pattern by Tabitha Gandee, and I forget what these are called too, but I'll try to put it down below. And these, same thing. I have such a hard time getting this color work section over my heel. These I am planning to I'm planning to fix these. I'm planning just to pick up the stitches underneath the color work, and I mean, just to be able to save the actual sock. I'm gonna just probably knit plain up and put a new cuff back on and leave out the color work, just because I want to get more wear out of these socks. This is Knit Picks Stroll Tweed yarn. All of these colors are. The reason I really loved this pattern was because of the herringbone stitch heel flap. which was a bit tricky to make, but I had always wanted to try herringbone, and so I do love how that looks, but I haven't made it again because it was a bit fiddly to make that heel. But anyway, it's kind of a disappointment because I love the look of the color work up here, but I just think I'm going to get more use out of them if I just knit plain and not worry about the color work for right now. But keeping those experiences in mind, I really wanted to make sure that the fit of these was going to be great. So I've had quite a few trials and errors in starting these socks. I originally cast on the 64 stitch count just because of what I said and how my socks have been loose, and I was planning to use a 9-inch circular needle, which I also knit really loosely with, and I thought that that would be good enough. So I did 64 stitches and they were still too tight. And I was also only using a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle for the body, and she recommends, Summerly recommends using a US 2 2.75. Is that right? Yes. So I instead, actually the next time I tried, so this is the third try. The second time I tried 72 stitch count, still using the US 1 9-inch circulars because of my typical loose gauge. But again, those were still, they reminded me of these. Like, I can get them on, but they're just not super fun to get on and off. So I have now gone up to 72 stitches, and I'm using the recommended needles, which are US 2 2.75 millimeter needles, and the fit is great. In fact, I'm almost wondering if maybe they're a bit too loose, but I think it's better to err on the side of a little bit too loose than too tight. You can kind of see that they're a bit puckery, but I think that they'll block out really, really well once I get them all done and blocked. I'm hoping. I'm trying to keep my, I do have a tendency to knit my color work stitches a bit tighter as well. So anyway, so I dyed up these colors no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I am using the leftovers from the Regia 4-ply that I received as a gift from Heidi that I knit my youngest son's little shorty socks in that I showed off on the last episode. That's the red that I'm using. I actually did dye another 50-gram hank of yarn to try to match this red, which I did, and I'm so glad, just because I wanted to make sure in case I didn't have enough of this red, I wanted to be able to have it more on hand. So, but this actual yarn that I'm using is the Regia 4-ply, the bright red. But then I did dye just the plain black and this darker red color, which is just more like a burgundy. These are so much fun to work up. They're really addictive to just see that pattern come together. So excited about them. So these are kind of, again, more kind of like a holiday type sock, but they also will be able to be worn, you know, throughout the year as well. I'm so excited about them. So those are my 2 new sock whips. And then I've also been working on 2 more Scrappy projects. The first one I showed off a long time ago. I don't remember the last time I showed it off, but it is I started this one after I finished my beautiful hexagon blanket back here, just because I wanted another scrappy blanket to replace, because I just love the process of making scrappy blankets. So I found this diamond motif pattern online. I found it on a website called Addy-S. I'll link to that down below as well. This is called the Diamond Motif Blanket, and the designer is Addie von Norell. I was inspired to find a diamond pattern like this after watching one of Lily Kate Makes episodes on YouTube, because she has a couple of throw pillows on her bed in the background of her episodes that have a diamond shaped pattern similar to this. So I started making this as a blanket and just using the tiniest bits of fingering weight scraps. I am using a C hook, which is a 2.75 millimeter hook. And I'm joining as I go and crocheting over all of my ends so the back looks neat and tidy as well. And I'm really loving this process. So the last time I showed this on an episode, I had just done 9 of these motifs. These 9 right here were the ones that I had done last time. And now I am making it into more of a squared shape because my plans have changed for this project. My daughter received a pillow from my husband's grandmother quite a while ago, I think last Christmas. And it was just, well, my husband's grandmother every Christmas does like a prize game. She has a Christmas party at her house, and she just has tons of prizes that she's picked up throughout the year on clearance racks and in thrift shops and things like that. And she just has tons of prizes, and it's really fun. She like plays bingo, and she has drawings and things like this. It's super fun, and everybody can just go up to the prize table and take things that they like. So my daughter grabbed this pillow because she just thought that little girl was so sweet looking. So she brought it home and put it on her bed, and my youngest son and my daughter share a bedroom. And she loved it until she went to sleep at night, and this little girl stares at her in the night. And her face is kind of light, and so even in the dark, her face kind of glows in the night. And you can't just flip it around because she's on both sides. So this cute, sweet little cherub is frightening my children after all. And they've asked me to try to cover it up. So I've decided to use this as a pillow cover for this pillow. This pillow is actually a bit wider than it is tall, so I'm going to be turning it on its side because the diamond motif fits a bit better this way on the pillow. But anyway, I am shaping this diamond motif to cover the front of this pillow. I think, if I've figured it out right, I think I only need to add one more full diamond motif here, and then the rest of it will be half diamonds. And I'm pretty sure that in the website where I got this pattern, she also has instructions for how to make the half diamonds as well. I'm hoping, because I don't want to have to try to figure that out on my own. But anyway, I'm just planning to do the diamonds on the front, and then for the back piece, I'm hoping just to use more scraps to make a type of envelope pouch type thing. So I'm going to make 2 just plain pieces that overlap, and then my plan is that then I'll hopefully be able to wash it in case it needs to be washed. So I've really enjoyed picking this project back up though, and I may still someday make this pattern into a blanket as well, because I've really enjoyed the process. I hadn't worked on this in so long, but my son asked me last week, I suppose, if I had been working on his pillow cover, well, because he shares the room with my daughter, so this pillow is kind of both of theirs, in their eyes. Anyway, so I said, no, I haven't worked on that. I'll get it out. And so I did, and I've been working on it and really enjoying working on it a lot. So yeah, I'm excited to get this put together though. I'm hoping it won't be too difficult, like in the corners and stuff. I'm not exactly sure how that will work out, but I'm thinking I'll be able to make it work. It's really cool. I think it'll be really cool on there. And then since I, wasn't going to be making that into a blanket, I thought, well, I can start a new blanket then. So I've decided to start another scrappy blanket with squares this time. So here is my new blanket. I am enjoying this process so much as well. So this one I've decided to do kind of color blocks. And so I sorted my scraps into color groups, and I'm just doing a very simple granny square for the very first round. I'm just doing a typical granny square where I did 3 double crochets and then 2 chains in each corner. But then from then on, I've been doing the solid square where you double crochet into each stitch, and then each corner is 2 double crochets, chain 2. So I'm not doing the granny square stitch for the entirety, just that first round. So I really like how this is looking with the different color blocks. I've just been kind of matching my scraps, and again, I can just use the tiniest bits for those first few rounds. And I am really enjoying it. I am again joining as I go, crocheting over all my ends. I also, when I make squares, I flip every round. I flip from the right side to the wrong side. So that way I really don't have a right side or a wrong side on this blanket because every round is flipped. That also helps each square to be more square instead of spiraling a little bit. If you just continue on the right side of a granny square, it can kind of spiral. So if you flip each round, then it helps that to even out a bit better. I have been joining on the same side. So this is technically the right side because this is where there's just a bit of a bump on the right side where you join. I don't know if it's visible or not, probably not. Here on this yellow one, you can kind of see this little bump. And then on the wrong side, which it actually doesn't matter, but it's more smooth. So maybe that's prettier because it doesn't have a bump, I don't know. It's more smooth on that side, but again, I've been using the C 2.75 millimeter hook for this as well. I have it right here. It's just a clover hook, which I love. It's very comfortable to use. And I've really been enjoying this. So I'm excited to, I have one more little set of more of like a lilac purple grouping of colors that I can add to this. My kids are playing in the basement and being a little noisy. I don't know if you can hear them, but that's them if you do. Anyway, besides that one lilac color that I've set aside to add another square to, I need to go through my scraps again and put them into color groups to make more squares for this, because it's really been enjoyable to work on this as well. So much fun. I love scrappy blankets. I also haven't mentioned the diamond, I have another crochet blanket that I started as a baby blanket gift just to have on hand. And I really was enjoying that that pattern so much, but I haven't worked on it in several weeks. The Diamond Bobble Blanket by Caroline, and I still have that. It's actually in that basket right there, but I haven't picked it up since I showed it on probably 3 episodes ago, I'm guessing. So I really want to get that one back out too and work on that, because that is a really enjoyable pattern as well. Those are all of my works in progress. I only think, I have a few more things to show you. I've been working on some Christmas project bags. Yay! My cousin Elly, who made me those pumpkin themed, fall themed progress keepers, she asked for a Christmas bag in exchange for the progress keepers that she sent me. So that kind of motivated me to think about making some Christmas bags. And then I had a few other people ask if I was going to be making some more project bags for Christmas this year, because I did last year. And so yeah, I decided to make some new project bags. I've only I went through the fabric that I had left over. I had just a few scraps left over from last year's Christmas bags that I made, and I've worked up just a few of those first, and then I've got some new material that I'm so excited about. But I know lots of people have already come out with lots of Christmas things, and I'm probably gonna be pushing it, but these bags that I'm gonna show you right now are definitely more Christmassy. The new fabric that I have is definitely not just for Christmas, it's just more wintry, so I think we'll be okay. The first one I have is a medium size. I'm not making any of my large size for this update. I'm only going to be doing my small size and my medium size. So this is the medium size, and maybe you'll recognize it if you were around last year. This is I believe, I really need to go through my scraps because I might have a little bit more, but this is the only one I could find. I'm pretty sure that this is the only panel I had left from this fabric. In fact, I didn't even have enough to do the other side. So the other side is just plain red. you can kind of tell that this is not quite done yet. I need to put in the drawstrings and add my label to it and things like that, but you can kind of get a general idea. But this is the only one with this fabric, and it is the medium size. And then I'm gonna have 4 of these smaller. Come inside if you're cold. My son's outside, he comes up to the window and goes, it's freezing. Because like I said, it's snowing. I think it may have stopped now, but it's very cold and windy. Anyway, so here is the fabric that is left over from last year's update. I just love this fabric so much, and I looked for it again this year and I couldn't find it, so that makes it even more special. I'm keeping one of these for myself even. And anyway, I'm gonna have 4 of these. I had to kind of play around with how to cut out the design because, you know, you want to get the cute little pictures in the frame of the bag. So they're all going to be a bit different with the scene that you get on the bag. But here's 2 examples, and then I'll have 2 more that aren't quite done yet. They're up there on my sewing table, getting ready to be sewn together. Anyway, so I'm just gonna have 4 of those smaller ones, this one medium one, and I think I'm gonna pop those in my Etsy shop before my other larger update is done, just because these are really more specifically for Christmas with the Christmas trees, and you know, they're just more tree farm and things like that. They're more Christmassy themed. I think I'll hold off on showing you the other fabrics until my next episode. I'm really hoping that I'm going to make a lot of progress in the next couple of weeks, but I've cut out enough to have a pretty large update with that next update. So all the fabrics are back there on my table. You can't see them, but oh, I'm so excited about the fabrics that I have for that update as well. So I just wanted to let you all know about that. And then one more thing. Oh, I don't know when I will do that, when I will put them in my Etsy shop. I'm not sure, but in this upcoming week, I assume. I will always put it on Instagram. If you want to be notified when I have a shop update, stay tuned to my Instagram. And then I also have a list of those of you that have requested to be added to an update, an email update whenever I update my Etsy shop as well. So I will send out an update to those that have requested to be added to that list. If you would like to be added to that list, just send me an email and let me know, and I'll be glad to add you to that list, and then I'll just send you an email whenever I do update the Etsy shop, because a lot of times those updates are very few and far between. I just wanted to show off the Icelandic sweater that I had mentioned that I got at that estate sale where I picked up this rocking chair and a few other goodies that I showed off on my last episode. So this is the sweater that I got at that estate sale for only 50 cents. It's definitely not handmade, but it was just so beautiful I couldn't pass it up. So I looked at the label some more, and now I see that the Icelandic is in quotation marks. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it's 40% wool and 60% acrylic. Panache, the mark of style, made in the USA. I don't know. But I just loved this yoke on here. I just couldn't pass it up for only 50 cents. And it fits me really well, so I'll wear it sometime. I need to give it a good wash because it still has that musty, like it's been stored in an attic for a while. It doesn't smell great. It smells kind of like so I need to give it a nice washing. But I just thought that color work was so pretty. The construction of it is pretty interesting. It's definitely, I'm sure it's machine done. The collar is folded over and stitched down. But then the yoke is actually sewn, there's a seam right here. It's sewn on. And then it's even seamed. The boys are back out again, back out in the cold. The sideline is even seamed here, and it didn't match up really well, but I thought that was interesting the way it was constructed. But yeah, even on the yoke here, it was seamed together. It's interesting. But I just think it's so pretty. There's even a bit of that brown color on the hemline. So anyway, I need to give that a good wash. It really has that musty odor to it. but I thought you guys would enjoy seeing that. So I think that is all that I have to share with you all today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate that so much. Thanks again for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.